Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We're here in the city of Nukus on my trip to Uzbekistan, and this is gonna be like the first time that I'm gonna be talking on the channel. So I stayed at the Jipek Joli Hotel on my way to the Aral Sea, right? And I had like the most stress-free trip to the Aral Sea of my life. And this hotel is just incredible. Just look, they got all these decorations everywhere, and it gives this very good, nice ambiance. I love it. And their hotels are just generally nice. Like as you can see here, it's a decoration room, and they got like loads of like all sorts of these interesting decorations, and it generally makes the hotel feel quite pleasant, you know. Not just a hotel, but like something cultural. And here we got the beautiful lobby with the sofas and all that, the carpet. Here's a look at the decoration room once again. They got like these really nice carpets and more stuff. Here we got some more decor. And last but not least, we got these magnets, which are all on sale. Additionally, I stayed at this hotel on my way to the Aral Sea. And again, we had the most stress-free experience, right? It was very stress-free. They offered us this cool yurt camp that you're going to see later in this video. And they had the most experienced and smart tour guide. And if you ever want to visit the Aral Sea, you have to come by this hotel. Just click the link in the description below, or organize your stay with the Jipek Joli Hotel. And before your stay, just tell them you want to visit the sea, and they'll just organize everything for you. Or click the link in the description below. Anyways, here we got like the breakfast, including tea, coffee, and they got other drinks such as water, OJ, and fruit punch. And also we got here the breakfast creams, some fruits, meats, cheeses, as well as some breakfast desserts like cakes and croissants. They also have pancakes and some samosas, and they also make hot breakfasts too. And I really enjoyed the breakfast at this hotel. And here I got some pancakes, cheese, and bread and all, and meats and all that. And my sister got breakfast desserts, samosas and chicken, and my mom like croissants, pancakes, and stuff. And yeah, so here we are. We're out of the hotel, bound for the Aral Sea. We just left. We're still in Nukus, about to make this 12-hour journey to the Aral Sea. You know, 12-hour flight from New York to Dubai I flew on, and now a 12-hour car ride to the Aral Sea. It was long, but it was comfortable. I enjoyed my ride, and we got to see many cool things along the way. So this is quite a sad sight. You see all the green stuff and the vast green fields, the green dry fields. They used to be the Darya River. Yeah, I know, it used to be that big, and that small strip of water is now what remains. And according to the tour guide, they're still lucky to have water, because in years past, like, this area has been completely dry. And it's just really sad. And considering how vast the dry areas are, like, look at this. This all used to be water. And considering how dry these areas are, it's very sad. Especially since I come from New York, where there's a lot of water. And it's like, you know how you've been to the Verrazano Bridge and you see a lot of water? It basically That's how much water was there in the Darya, and it explains the scale of destruction. And now we're heading farther and farther from Nukus, and here we stop by some camels, so enjoy that. And here we made it to this cute little camel farm. And, just I got to get really close up with camels. It was really cool. I enjoyed it. And here they're just bringing the camels, more camels into the farm. Just seeing these camels close up was just really fun, So here they're making camel milk, and I actually drank it. It tasted sour, but at the same time it had this smooth consistency, but it felt nice, but a bit sour. But overall, the camel milk was quite nice. I liked it. And here's the camel milk that I drank. And again, it tasted nice, but like a bit sour. And here we made it to Muynak. It used to be right next to the Aral Sea, but unfortunately we all know what happened. Ecological disaster. And we also went to this house for a Kara Kalpak lunch. And honestly, the lunch was delicious. These things are Uzbek dumplings. They're called chuchvara, and they were really good. I loved them. I really loved it. And this potato and meat was my absolute favorite. It was so good. And here's what Muynak looks like. It used to be this bustling Aral Sea town, but we all know the ecological disaster that happened. That things have changed. But yeah. We have made it to where the Aral Sea used to be. Just imagine, like, you'd see all this water stretching into the horizon as far as the eye can see. It's like if you approach Rockaway Beach back home in New York, and you see all this water stretching as far as the eye could see. And just imagine, it just shows you the scale of the destruction. And those ships are just basically put there as the grave. I guess they used to be real boats. But it's sad. The whole thing is sad. I really enjoyed this trip, but at the same time, it was sad to see just how vast this destruction scale was. And look at all these boats. They just... I keep using the word sad, but it's true. They look sad. I'm now gonna begin climbing this boat. The climb was sort of hard, but thankfully I made it. This room was like the captain's room, I guess. And again, just imagine seeing all this water while sailing. Later, you're actually gonna see a very, very, very sad clip from the Aral Sea Museum. And here we are inside the museum with the Uzbek and Karakalpak flags. And it's just filled with these cool illustrations that show you what the Aral Sea used to be like. For instance, we have like photos showing the wetlands of the Aral Sea and models of the wildlife near the sea and industrial boats, I guess you could phrase it, and fish restaurants and everything by the sea. Just look at all these photos showing how people used to thrive with the sea, and this image of a fish restaurant by the Aral Sea and how life just used to be like here. And it was pleasant, fishing boats, and you could just see the water. It used to be like the ocean, and that's like a birding cat that used to live by the sea. And everything, I know I keep using the word sea, but it's true, everything basically relied on the sea. Just look at the beautiful water stretching across the horizon, I guess you could phrase it, and all this wildlife that used to live there. Like this cat, and I just feel bad for everything bad that happened, all the wildlife that just became dead. It just, I can't describe the sadness. And that photo was like the Amudarya River back in the winter. And here's another bird. And another cute one. But yeah, more birds, more, more wildlife. That's just the air conditioning. And yeah, just this museum. It's a great museum. Here we have the boats, I guess, that used to sail along the sea. And some cool looking shells, as well as ancient shark teeth. And because the Aral Sea used to be part of an ocean back in ancient times. And all these products that contained fish caught from the Aral. And oh my god, that image just shows how ocean-like the sea was, and so does this one too. Alright, and now I'm gonna show you this like very sad clip that you just have to see. I know that was sad, but it just captures how vast and how rich with water the sea really was, and how rich with water this area really was. And now it just, the whole sea feels like a barren wasteland, unfortunately. It's sad. And here we're now like passing through what was the seabed of the Aral Sea, and formerly, like prehistorically, the Tethys Ocean. So we have reached the Ustyurt Plateau. that used to see waves crashing onto it, and now again it's just quite barren. Unfortunately, I hate saying it, but it's true. And now we're climbing onto the Ustyurt plateau. And here we are on top of the plateau. And despite being sad about what happened to the water here, I just loved how everything in this area was just so peaceful that, like, considering I live in like the city that never sleeps, this was so peaceful. Just listen. Like I mentioned earlier, this area used to be part of the Tethys Ocean, right? And now it's just almost a desert. And just imagine during those prehistoric times, all the fish that would have been here and all the water richness that would have just thrived in this area. And yeah, and it's very sad. It used to be this vast ocean. Even the Aral Sea, which also used to be vast, is almost gone. Anyways, we made it, and I'm seeing the Aral Sea for the first time, and what little water remains. And here's our yurt camp. You know, it was a cool yurt camp. The bathrooms were not in the yurt; they were in these outhouses. And then you just wash your hands in another place. Here's our room number 25 here. As we could see, we got outlets. We got this very nice roof, a heating thing, I guess, and 4 beds. It was quite a small yurt, but it was nice. And there we could see the basically what little water remains of the Aral Sea at this point. Again, it's sad, and now we're heading to the Aral Sea to swim in. And now I'm going to walk across this long boardwalk to what little remains of the sea. I mean, it still looks quite vast from here, but obviously it's not what it used to be. Anyways, enjoy this walk. And may God bring the Aral Sea to its 1960 size. Anyways, I'm now about to go into the water, the very salty water. But hey, it was still worth it. The sea is like really salty, kind of like the Dead Sea. So you do float once you go inside the water. Yeah, and I don't usually show myself, but here I am floating. Alright, that was like a really fun swim, but as always, all good things must come to an end. So we're heading back to the the very small shore. One more thing, make sure the water does not get into your eye because the saltiness can really sting your eye. And here we can see that the sea is slowly eroding, unfortunately. And considering this once was the Tethys Ocean, and now it's almost gone. It's getting worse by climate change, unfortunately, and I'm gonna get into that topic later. So this is the dining hall of our epic Yurt camp. When you come in, you're gonna see like many tables and all that, and to the left there's a counter with souvenirs and all that, and goggles. And here's a magazine of Uzbekistan Airways titled Aral Sea, my favorite Uzbek airline. And again, here are some souvenirs, essentials like goggles, some drinks, and some images showing like the history of the Aral Sea and all that. And more used tables since, basically all these tables are used because we're the last guests to have dinner. And we're now having some karakol paklav with like bread and fruits on for sides. The plov tasted, it was pretty good. Honestly though, I think I'd prefer like Samarkand plov, but hey, it was still good. And now we're seeing the moonrise over the Aral Sea with this boat. What a beautiful sight, man. Subhanallah. Alright, after like not the best night of sleep, we're heading to the Ustyurt Plateau to see the sunrise. And as you can see here, all these plains used to be water. And I just wish the water was still smashing onto the cliffs. And yeah, again, it's very sad. I cannot stop saying that. But yeah, this looks like the Grand Canyon. And just despite the sad nature of all this, just look at the peacefulness. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the sunrise. Wow, seeing the sun rise above the cliffs is just, it's so magical. I love it. I have been enjoying this trip so much so far, especially with the tranquility and the contrast to the city life that I live in. Even though I like city life, I still love nature. Like, this whole trip has just been so stress-free and so worth it. You gotta support Jipek Joli and I Am Tours. Anyways, now we're gonna head back to Nukus and then onwards to Hiva, and I'll make a separate video about Hiva. So did I enjoy the yurt camp? Yes, I really did. The yurt camps inside the yurts are really cool. They're very well decorated and they're very cultural, and you know, the dining hall is really cool as well, with the souvenirs and all that. And one more thing, I just wanted to emphasize the fact that we need to stop climate change to help the Aral Sea, because like the damaged sea is causing like dust storms that are unhealthy for the population of Central Asia, right? And climate change is making it worse because the air is getting warmer, the more water is evaporating, and like in coastal areas, people are losing their communities to the ocean because of rising sea levels. But here, people are facing a water scarcity and harsh, unhealthy weather, and it's like a terrible imbalance that should just be stopped. Like we need to stop climate change. Anyway, now we're here at what used to be an airport next to this very isolated village. So imagine this runway hosting planes. It would be really cool. And those are the village houses, and this is generally a unique experience. It's very fun. And that's the very cool Avgeek element to this unique adventure. Anyways, we're now here at this other place, which used to be a lake, that was fed by the Aral Sea. And obviously we all know what happens to the Aral, which is getting worse by climate change. Like I said, that we need to stop climate change to stop these terrible imbalances. And here's the view of the lake, which still looks pretty beautiful. It to be honest, looks more water-rich than the Aral, but it's still a sad sight. And as we make our way back to civilization, we're stumbling upon these horses. Quite funny. Anyways, we're now having some carrot couple fish. It was okay. It was pretty good. It was okay. And we're having it with some bread, melons, and onions. And now we're passing by what used to be the big Amu Darya, and you know, now what remains of it is this little strip of water, unfortunately. Quite sad. But yeah, anyways, I really appreciate you watching this video and joining me on my adventure. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up. And also, one more thing, let me know in the comments whether you'd rather me doing my videos in text or actually speaking with a voiceover. Let me know which one's better. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.